Welcome back to Beyond the Buzzer. We are here with episode 12, our NFL draft recap. This past weekend, we had a really exciting NFL draft. A lot of stars, a lot of new guys coming in. It's really always exciting to see these rookies come in and light up the league. Awesome. What were your reactions to the draft?
Favorite day of the year. I love the NFL draft. I felt this year was just as good or as if better as the talent level as last year. So it's going to be exciting to see how we break this down.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to go through the picks of the first round and then talk about some teams specifically, some guys that fell, some steals we think that were taken in the later rounds. And yeah, I guess we'll just go through it team by team. So first overall pick, obviously we had the Jaguars. I think this one was undoubtable who they were picking. They pick up Trevor Lawrence, quarterback from Clemson. Austin, what are your thoughts on the Jaguars and this pick?
Yeah, I don't think Urban Meyer would have coached there if they selected anybody else. Trevor Lawrence is the guy in Jacksonville. The people of Jacksonville are donating to charities. He's donating to their charities. I think this was a match made in heaven for Jacksonville. They have a quarterback that I think will be there for 10, 15 years down
You
the
know,
road.
it was funny. He was donating to Jacksonville charities before he even got drafted there. So obviously he knew he was going there, but hopefully, I'm sure Jacksonville fans are pumped to have him there, and they also got another good talent at a later pick in the first round that we'll talk about later. Bit of a questionable pick, but we will mention that later, as I said. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. I think people had him as the first overall pick in this draft in his freshman year after he won that national championship. So he'll be a great player. Excited to see him play finally. Number 2 pick, we have the New York Jets, and they pick up Zach Wilson from BYU. Awesome. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm not the biggest fan of Zach Wilson. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I really like Trey Lance. I think he's a better passer and a better runner than Zach Wilson is. I think the Jets really like Zach Wilson as the prospect. They didn't have the choice of taking a Trevor Lawrence there. They got the guy who they believe is the second best quarterback that they could build around. It's going to be exciting to see what he could do as a rookie. I think that in my opinion, I just think Lance is a better overall prospect. I just believe his upside's better. But you see some of the throws that Zach Wilson's making; those throws are what made the Jets select him. He just has the potential to be great too, but I just like Trey Lance's upside a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean both of those two guys, Zach Wilson and Trey Lance, they both have a lot of potential. And you were talking about some of those throws that Zach Wilson made, especially at his pro day, that off the back foot leaning 65-yard pass that caught the eyes of everyone on social media. So obviously he has a lot of talent. I don't think they were ever going to go. I don't think they were ever questioning any quarterback besides Zach Wilson. That was like the only name revolving around the New York Jets for the past couple months, who they were drafting. And after Justin Fields had that 6 touchdown game, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, New York Jets, Justin Fields," but that narrative quickly changed to Zach Wilson. Now, the other quarterback you were just talking about, number 3, he got drafted to the San Francisco 49ers. I think this is a great pick for the 49ers. I'm not sure if he's going to start week 1. He probably will not. I think he'll be under Garoppolo for maybe a year, or if Garoppolo is stinking it up this season, Trey Lance will hop in. But Austin, what do you think about this pick?
Yeah, I love the pick of Trey Lance. You saw during his workouts, they were using the 49ers RPO system in his workout. I think that tipped their cap a little bit. You even heard Shanahan. He made a comment that kind of tipped it that they were selecting Lance. I think that he has the upside to be potentially, definitely an all pro, potentially even a Hall of Famer, just because he's so young. He's one of the youngest quarterbacks in this draft. He has elite arm talent. We never see his only downside though is that played against some real competition, but he has really good size. He was recruited as a corner, a safety, a receiver, every position except for a quarterback. Now he has the chance to be the guy in San Francisco. I absolutely love the pick. I think that he's a better quarterback than Mac Jones. So I think it's a great pick.
Yeah, I'm really glad they did not take Mac Jones with the 3rd overall pick. I think Trey Lance is like a new era modern quarterback. I think he's going to be really good under Shanahan and a very, very dynamic offense. San Francisco's loaded with running backs to help him in that backfield, and they have a pretty decent group of receivers. Obviously, George Kittle will be coming back, so he has some help if he needs to step in for Garoppolo, which I think is inevitably going to happen. Um, so yeah, number 4, your guy Kyle Pitts got selected by the Atlanta Falcons. Let me know, as you are the Kyle Pitts super fan, what you think about this pick.
Highest selected tight end in NFL history.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
It was for a reason. The guy Kyle Pitts is absolutely elite. He's going to come into the NFL, in my opinion, as a top four tight end behind Waller, Kittle, and Kelsey.
Agreed.
Guy can catch the ball extremely well. He's a okay blocker. He's just an amazing scheme fit for Atlanta. Him and Julio Jones is just amazing together. I think Matt Ryan will be able to distribute the ball to those two, hopefully for another year if they don't move on from Julio. But it's going to be exciting to watch Kyle Pitts in a Atlanta Falcon uniform. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Kyle Pitts he's a matchup nightmare. Linebackers can't guard him, and you can't put a corner on him basically because then you're leaving Calvin Ridley or Julio Jones open. This offense is going to be electric. After the season we saw Calvin Ridley have last year, took a huge leap. Matt Ryan is an experienced quarterback, former MVP that can lift this offense to new heights, especially with the addition of the very versatile Kyle Pitts, and obviously you have Julio Jones, who I think they're going to keep a hold on just because they have Pitts and they have such a crazy good offense. Can't let him go. And Julio's been loyal to Atlanta forever, been the best receiver in their franchise history. So I don't think they'll get rid of him. But I'm really happy with this Kyle Pitts pick. Definitely deserving of the highest pick for a tight end in NFL draft history. Number 5, we have Ja'Marr Chase to the Cincinnati Bengals. A little bit of a questionable pick. I think people had the Bengals either taking Penei Sewell or Ja'Marr Chase. They go Ja'Marr Chase here. Austin, what do you think about the Chase pick?
I hate the pick. I think they definitely need Penei Sewell. They need an offensive tackle to block for Burrow. He got his leg hurt last year. Now they give him another weapon to throw to. Like, you got to protect your guy. You just drafted this guy number one overall. I understand you're reuniting him with this wide receiver one at LSU. To me, it just doesn't make sense. Chase sat out the year as well as Sewell. I think I just think that Sewell is just the overall better prospect in my opinion. All right, yeah, one of the better offensive lineman prospects you'll see for a very long time. I just don't think Ja'Marr Chase was the right pick for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it would have been a bit of a better choice to grab Sewell and have him protect for Burrow after that devastating torn ACL, especially for a young quarterback. You see, like the Chargers drafting Rashawn Slater. You want to protect your guy. Giants last year did it, drafted 3 linemen last year. You want to protect your young guy, make him healthy for as long as possible while he's in his prime. So I am happy to see that Ja'Marr Chase, Joe Burrow connection again, as it was electric at LSU. But I think the smarter pick here would have been Penei Sewell, as they already have T. Higgins, who they drafted last year. They already have Tyler Boyd, have Joe Mixon. They already have weapons for Burrow to use. So I don't know if Ja'Marr Chase was the right pick there. Number 6, we have the Miami Dolphins picking up Jalen Waddle, very electric, fast receiver out of Alabama, arguably better than Devonta Smith, um, although he did get injured last year. Austin, what are your thoughts on this Dolphin selection?
Really like Waddle, a guy you could just line up in the slot, which is huge for the Dolphins as they brought in Will Fuller last year, who's a 6'4" outside receiver, as well as they kept Devontae Parker in house. I really like Waddle on the inside. He's very familiar with Tua's offense. I just like the pick. I think it's really good.
Yeah, there's no excuse for Tua not to take a leap. He has 3 really good weapons, and I think the Dolphins' offense should definitely improve this year. That's all depending on Tua. Similar to the Giants' situation, depending on Daniel Jones with all his new weapons now. Number 7, we have who we just talked about, Penei Sewell to the Detroit Lions. Much needed position for them. I think he's going to be great. He's going to have a great NFL career. Awesome. What are your thoughts on this pick?
You saw their coach, if you watch the draft video, their draft call video, you saw their coach's reaction when they landed him. This guy's a generational type of offensive lineman. You could put him on the left, I think is where he'll be. You could also put him on the right. I think he'll be on the left side. Originally, I was reading reports that they wanted Ja'Marr Chase. I really think that Penei Sewell is very, very good, and they're very lucky to have an amazing offensive tackle like him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agree. Number 8, J.C. Horn. The Carolina Panthers build up their secondary after losing James Bradbury last year. I like this pick. J.C. Horn is a beast, son of Joe Horn, so he has that good cornerback DNA in him. What are your thoughts on this pick, Austin?
I was a little surprised, to be completely honest with you. I really thought they were going to go take Rashawn Slater. They just brought in Sam Darnold. They invested a second round pick and some other assets to get Sam Darnold. So I really thought they were going to go and attempt to protect him on the left side because I know they have Taylor Moton on the right. But I think upgrading the defense as well is a huge thing. They also last year had Jeremy Chin, who had an amazing rookie year. So I think they know what they're doing when they're drafting defensive backs. They took Horn over Surtain, who I believe was the better prospect. So I think the Panthers did their due diligence, and I think they believe that Horn is a better player than Surtain.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like the pick. Good, bold, confident pick. Hopefully the Panthers can compete in that division. I know it's tough. Maybe they get a wild card. I don't know. Maybe not. Depends on Sam Darnold. Number 9, as you said, Patrick Surtain to the Denver Broncos. Bit of a surprise pick here. I don't really think a lot of people saw them taking cornerback, which caused like a domino effect of trades to happen that we'll talk about in a second. Austin, what do you think about this Patrick Surtain pick?
Beyond shocked. I did not believe, although they had Callahan and their other corner on 1-year deals, I really did not think they would select a cornerback. They have Drew Lock, but he really hasn't proven much. He got hurt. Justin Fields is still on the board at this point, as well as Mac Jones. I thought they were going to select Mac Jones at this pick. Mac Jones was a winner at Alabama. He was proven. He won himself a national championship. He finished, I think it was third in Heisman voting. I just thought Mac Jones would have been the pick here, but they took a corner, and we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking they were going to lean toward quarterback as well with the uncertain play of Drew Lock last season, but they don't build up the secondary, grab Pat Surtain. I think he'll have a really good NFL career. Number 10, so we have a trade up here that I was calling the domino effect of trades. So the Dallas Cowboys traded with their division rival, Philadelphia Eagles. They swapped picks 10 and 12 and some later picks that I'm not really sure of, but the Eagles hop up, steal Devonta Smith right from the grasp of the New York Giants, which we are a little salty about. So, Austin, let me know what you think about this.
Not salty at all. It was a great move for the Eagles. It was a great move for the Cowboys. It was a win-win situation for both teams. I think the Eagles really wanted Devonta Smith. I don't really. He's a little bit underweight. I have to say, bigger corners are gonna be able to destroy him in the NFL. If you put a guy like Jalen Ramsey on him, I do believe that Jalen Ramsey, if he gets a good hit on him, will eat up Devonta Smith. Um, Devonta Smith also has very good speed, though. Just saying, you could put him on the outside, you could put him on the inside. They're going to try to give him the ball wherever he goes. But it depends on where you see Devonta Smith being. Do you really see him being an elite all pro wide receiver in the NFL? Or do you see him as being potentially a bust?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that weight definitely takes into a factor. He's not the biggest built guy, but I think he definitely has enough talent where he can be a successful receiver in the league. I don't know. I'm a little uncertain about him being a wide receiver one though, because he's going to be covered by the opposing team's best cornerback, and on some days that could be Jalen Ramsey. That's going to be 2 times a year probably. James Bradbury or Dory Jackson. Who knows how he'll match up against those guys? So, I mean, obviously he was going to get picked early. Um, so the Philadelphia Eagles take him, and we'll see how it pans out. Number 11, our New York Giants traded back with the Chicago Bears for the 20th pick, and they swoop up and grab Justin Fields. And Giants also get their first round pick next year, which was, I think, a bit of a fleecing by the Giants, and also a fourth this year and a fifth next year, if I'm corrected.
I think it was a fifth this year and a fourth next year.
Okay, either one. Fifth and a fourth as well. I really like this pick by Chicago. I think Justin Fields is very, very overhated. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback. Chicago fans are super, super happy with this pick. I would be too. And I mean, if you're getting your franchise quarterback this year, you're not going to really need a super high pick next year to take another quarterback. So, getting rid of that first round pick was kind of justifiable as you're getting your QB here. Awesome. What do you think about this Justin Fields pick?
Yeah, I think that Chicago made a good pick here. I think that moving up for them was the right decision. Justin Fields is a very good quarterback. I just don't know if he'll be the starter come week one. That's the real question here. They have Nick Foles. They have Andy Dalton, who is paid a big amount of money. They have 3 quarterbacks, and they have an extremely hard schedule. So if Justin Fields is the starter week one and he competes for it, good for him. But if Nick Foles beats him out, or if Andy Dalton beats him out, I would really, really enjoy having a top 10 pick in the NFL draft next year from the Chicago Bears. So thank you guys for that.
I am a supporter of Justin Fields, but I am heavily rooting against the Chicago Bears this year. Please be the worst team in the NFL. Thank you. Number 12, we have the Dallas Cowboys, who they take Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State. This guy's an athletic freak. He's a dog. Also, what do you think about this pick?
He showed all the Penn State guys this year showed amazing pro day numbers. He's a linebacker. He could also play edge. Micah Parsons is an overall pretty solid prospect. He sat out this year though, which kind of drew me back from him a little bit. And then all of his attitude and off the field issues that people were saying that he may fall a little bit in the draft, he didn't fall at all. I personally was not the biggest Micah Parsons supporter just because of the off the field stuff, and I just don't believe that that would fit with the Giants' system and the way that they discipline their players. But Micah Parsons is a fine player. We'll see how he plays in a bad boy Dallas defense, because that's what it seems like they drafted all around the board.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas has two other linebackers in Leighton Vander Esch, who's injured a lot, and Jalen Smith, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see how he fits in there. Number 13, we have Rashawn Slater to the Los Angeles Chargers. As I said before, it's a really good pick for the Chargers. They get to protect their franchise quarterback, Justin Herbert, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Austin, what do you think about this pick?
So Rashawn Slater is a offensive tackle from Northwestern, shut down Chase Young. That was really what he was infamous for. The thing with Slater is that he has really, really bad footwork. If you watch the tape on him, people aren't really like, people are all bogged up in the idea that he shut down Chase Young and that he could be a potential franchise left tackle, which is true. He is a potential franchise tackle. But if you really break it down, he also has some flaws. It depends on how their offensive line coach works with him and works to develop him. He could be potentially a great offensive tackle, but if he doesn't fix his issues, he might really not be so amazing like everybody's making this pick out to seem.
Yeah, I mean, I think Slater's a beast, but all rookies have flaws to their game and imperfections. So obviously, it takes a little bit to adjust. We saw that with Andrew Thomas last year at left tackle. He didn't start the season out very well, but he did adjust at the second half of the season, played a little better. But we'll see how that pans out for Rashawn Slater. Excited to see him in LA. Number 14, we have another trade up with the Minnesota Vikings. The Jets trade up and grab Elijah Vera Tucker. A guard from USC. He was really good, I think. Really good pick by the Jets. They get to protect their quarterback, who they just drafted second overall. Awesome. What do you think about this pick?
In my opinion, he's the second best offensive lineman in the draft. Elijah Vera Tucker played left tackle at USC this year. He's really a guard. He played tackle. He could also play guard. He's a plug and play. Having that guy next to a mountain of a man like Mekhi Becton next year is huge for the Jets. They also invested to protect in Zach Wilson, their quarterback, now that they trust. Sorry. Now maybe they could actually run the ball effectively, which is huge for the Jets. So I really, really like this pick.
Speaking of running the ball, they did grab what's his name from Michael Carter from UNC. So that'll be a nice duo. I think they've completely revamped their entire offense this year with the signings of Corey Davis, drafting those three guys. So it'll be very interesting to see how the New York Jets progress. Number 15, we got Mac Jones, New England Patriots from Alabama. I think a lot of people saw this coming. Very Bill Belichick style quarterback, a little similar to Tom Brady. He's not very mobile, but pocket passer. What do you think about this, Austin?
There was rumors about them moving up into the top 10 to get a quarterback. They stayed put and they got the quarterback. I think Mac Jones would have been their choice if they were to even move into the top 10. So I really think it's a great pick. Mac Jones has very, very good arm talent. He's also been surrounded by extremely good players at Alabama. I believe that all five of his offensive linemen at Alabama will all be future starters in the NFL, believe it or not. So I really think that Mac Jones's game will translate over to the NFL pretty solid. He's going to be a check down Charlie type of quarterback. So we'll see how he translates, but I think it's going to be extremely well.
Yeah, I think New England was like the number one spot for him, like priority, like for his type of quarterbacking and his fit in the NFL. Under Bill Belichick, he's going to be pretty successful. Number 16, we have Zaven Collins out of Tulsa, linebacker for the Cardinals. Austin, what do you think about this pick?
Yeah, he won the Bronco Nagurski trophy this year, which is the same trophy that Chase Young won last year. People really like Zaven Collins' game. He could play the edge. He could also play linebacker. I really like him. He could fly around the field, and he took over Hassan Reddick's position. So you're really swapping out one for one, kind of.
Yeah, I think he's very versatile linebacker, very athletic, similar to last year when the Arizona Cardinals drafted Isaiah Simmons, another versatile defensive player. So they have some pieces to move around there. I think it's a good step for the Cardinals, and maybe they can grab a playoff spot this year after missing out just barely last year. 17, we have a bit of a reach here. Classic Oakland Raiders move. Alex Leatherwood, offensive tackle out of Alabama. Austin, what are your thoughts?
You couldn't have said it better. Classic Las Vegas Raiders now.
Oh, I
Raiders.
said Oakland. Oh
You're
no.
you're fine. Las Vegas Raiders move. Gruden loves this type of pick. He played offensive tackle in college. He's going to be a guard in the NFL. He's not going to be able to play the outside, from what they were saying.
Yeah,
People were saying that there was a 60% chance he would have fell to them in the second round. If you like the guy, though, you got to pick the guy. I think that Leatherwood is a guy that you could play come week one at guard. And I think that the Raiders needed that type of player, especially after they lost a few guys like Trent Brown, and they lost Rodney Hudson when they released both of them for salary cap reasons. So they got their tackle slash guard that they wanted. So I don't think it's such a bad pick like everybody's making it out to seem, although they reached a bit.
Yeah. Reach last year with the Raiders was Henry Ruggs, and we've seen how that's kind of panned out, passing on guys like Jerry Judy, Justin Jefferson. So I don't know. Maybe this is the right pick by the Raiders, and we're all doubting them. Number 18, we have Jalen Phillips, edge rusher out of Miami. He was the first edge rusher to be taken in this draft. A lot of guys like Greg Rousseau. We're in talks, or Aziz Ojulari being the best defensive ends in this draft. But Jalen Phillips does get picked first by the Dolphins. Austin, what do you think about this?
Yeah, this guy was the number one prospect coming out of high school. Jalen Phillips is an absolute beast. In 2017, he went to UCLA. He transferred to Miami. He's new to the program there. He's elite. He was projected, if he didn't get hurt, he would have been the number one player in the draft. He medically retired and then came back. He's really good. He's staying home. Like he played college football at Miami. Now he's playing in the same stadium in the NFL. Dude doesn't have it much better. I really like the pick. Jalen Phillips, edge rusher now for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, definitely an inspiring story too. How he started at UCLA, had to retire, and then came back playing with the Hurricanes, and now he is a first-round pick in the draft. So I think that's a very good pick for the Dolphins. Number 19, we have Jamin Davis out of Kentucky, linebacker, very athletic guy. He was one of the best linebackers in the country this year. Certainly going to help out that Washington defense. Austin, what do you think?
Yeah, people are saying that he could be an all pro. He played at Kentucky against Florida, guarded Kyle Pitts, I think a little bit the year before. I don't know. I'm not too sure about last year because I don't think he played this year against us, but he's pretty good. He's a good linebacker. He's going to be able to help their edge a little bit because they have amazing front four.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good pick for Washington. Here we go. Number 20, New York Giants. After the trade with Chicago, they pick up your guy out of Florida, Kadarius Toney, the human joystick. I am super excited about this pick. Just seeing his highlight tapes, like this guy is untackleable, fifth in the nation in broken tackles. He had, I believe, over 1,000 receiving yards this season. He's had 150 catches and 150 targets, or no, I think 150 catches, 3 drops in his entire Florida career, which is just an astounding stat. And I think Kadarius Toney is a great weapon to bring in alongside Daniel Jones, healthy Saquon Barkley, Kenny Galladay, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. The list goes on and on. We got a jam-packed offense this year. I think it's going to be a really good year for the Giants. What do you think?
Just another guy for Daniel Jones to throw to. Guy you could put in the backfield. You could put him out wide. You could put him in the slot. I love it. Kadarius Toney. He is an elite playmaker. You get the guy the ball, he'll score you a touchdown. No drops this year at all. 0 drops this year. He had one bad drop in the Senior Bowl that everybody made a whole big deal out of. It wasn't a big deal. You watched the play before it. You saw him break the guy completely. Kadarius Toney, he'll get open. It's huge for Daniel Jones. The line at Florida this year wasn't absolutely amazing. Daniel Jones's line is not going to be absolutely amazing. You're going to be able to get him checkdowns. You're going to be able to get him the ball, and getting him the ball equals touchdowns. So Kadarius Toney, he has the potential to be a really good receiver in the NFL. He's dangerous.
Yeah, I totally agree. Perfectly fits the scheme of the New York Giants. He will fit in as a great wide receiver too, alongside Kenny Galladay. And he is so versatile, as you said. Reminds me of a guy like Curtis Samuel, who can, end arounds, line up in the backfield, throw a wide receiver screen to, and have the blockers go all the way out. And as I said before, he's untackleable, super fast. I think around the 4.3 range and 40. Very good at breaking tackles, very shifty, has good vision. And the Giants were set on this guy. They moved back, and they didn't want to wait till 42 or I guess 50 because they traded back to 50. But they didn't want to wait till the second round to grab him. They secured their guy, new wide receiver in the new era of New York Giants football. And to stay with the New York Giants right now, just talk a little bit about their picks. As I said before, they traded back from 42 to 50 with the Dolphins. They grabbed Azeez Ojulari, who was widely thought of as projected first round pick coming into the draft. Austin, what do you think about the Ojulari pick?
Yeah, people were saying he was a top 20 player in this draft. Ojulari is legit. He had an issue where he had, I think it was, I forgot what it was in high school.
Leg, leg,
Yeah, it was,
knee,
I can't
knee,
remember
leg.
what it was. Something with his legs. In high school, he's not hurt. He played in college. You saw him every weekend destroy quarterbacks. He destroyed Desmond Ritter. He got to Kyle Trask. He got to all the quarterbacks. Azeez Ojulari could play on the edge. He could play linebacker. He's going to line up perfectly in the Giants scheme because now they'll have Ryan Anderson on the other side. They'll have Blake Martinez up the middle, and they have an amazing front four. So I really think that a guy like Azeez Ojulari is amazing for the New York Giants. Huge pick.
Yeah, I absolute steal. Honestly, like one of the best steals in the draft. As you said, projected first round pick, top 20 player, and he falls all the way down to 50 because of an injury concern. And he even said I had no idea that people were concerned about my leg injury. I'm perfectly fine. Like a lot of people, a lot of teams overreact to some of these injuries. I think that's why Jeremiah Onowusu Karamoa also fell, if I'm pronouncing that name right. I think that was pretty good. But yeah, I think Azeez Ojulari is going to be a great edge rusher for the Giants. Definitely fills the need. Speaking of edge rusher for the Giants also grabbed Ellerson Smith in the fourth round,
Right.
third round, out of Northern Iowa, I believe. Also, what do you think about that pick?
Yeah, I think that if another player who could play the edge and also could play linebacker, Ellerson Smith seems more like a projected player, though. They're going to wait a little bit, see how he develops. He's a little bit more developmental. But Ellerson Smith has the size. He went against a guy like Spencer Brown, I think he went pretty early. He's an offensive tackle from Northern Iowa as well. There was two players from there this year. I really like Ellerson Smith. I think the Giants will be able to develop him however they really want. I think he's a pretty moldable player, which is pretty nice for the Giants to have the benefit of having a guy like that.
Yeah, I think Ellerson Smith is like 6'6", so pretty big edge rusher, and he has added a lot of weight. I heard Joe Judge talking about him adding a lot of weight just shows his work ethic and his commitment to his body. So that's a good sign. He's a good mental attitude. He did sit out last year, but that is how he did gain all that weight. And then staying with the Giants defense, they grabbed Aaron Robinson at a UCF cornerback. What do you think about this pick, Austin?
He could play corner and he could play safety. He was originally committed to Florida, so I'm kind of familiar with Aaron Robinson. He's an in-state kid. He then decommitted from Florida and went to Alabama. So he was been with Saban. He's probably been with Joe Judge as well, because when Joe Judge was probably there, he was probably there with him recruiting him as well. I really, really like him. I think that Robinson is a really good corner. He's pretty big. He has a nice size frame, and he's going to be able to play the outside. They're going to also be able to play him in nickel and dime packages. He'll play slot, which is really good too. I really think you can move him all over the place. So I think Aaron Robinson is a really good player. I really like the pick. And people were saying he was going to be a second round pick. We got him in the third. We moved up 4 picks to get him. I really like the pick.
Yeah, another possible steal by the New York Giants, building up that secondary. And they have a lot of good cornerbacks now. As I said before, James Bradbury, Dory Jackson, Darnay Holmes, who had a very impressive rookie season last year, and now they had Aaron Robinson, and they drafted another player. What's his first name? Something Williams out of
Darius Williams.
Rodarius Williams. I heard he's very good in press coverage. I was watching some tape. Giants are very excited to have him, and they also drafted a running back out of Arizona, Gary Brightwell, I believe.
Yes.
Probably will be like a special teams player, but what are your thoughts on him?
I absolutely love Gary Brightwell. I think his work ethic is amazing. I don't like him. I don't love him as a running back, but I can live with it. Him being the third string running back behind Devontae Booker and Saquon Barkley. I really don't think he'll get too many carries this year, but he's definitely better than Dion Lewis. He loves special teams, which is huge because Joe Judge and him are going to get along just fine if he loves that type of stuff. So I really like the pick there. And then the other pick of Rodarius Williams, he has the NFL bloodline. His brother is Greedy Williams, cornerback for the Browns. He's a really, really good press defender. He could play zone. He could play man. You could really put him anywhere as well. Two really good corner picks for the Giants. I really like the way they drafted, besides them not getting my guy, Trey Smith, with one of their 6th round picks and try to move up a little bit to get him. But other than that, I mean, they did a really good job this year in New York. I give Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge and the entire scouting department and medical department for that much a lot of credit.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think they aced this draft, especially with the trade ups, trade downs, getting, picks for next year, but also great players for this year and some steals, like you said. A lot of this question has been raised by some Giants fans, though. What do you think about the lack of offensive linemen or the lack of Giants picking offensive linemen and addressing that need in this year's draft?
I am not bothered by it at all, to be completely honest with you. We picked up Brett Heggie from Florida and this other offensive lineman from UCLA after the draft in the undrafted market. So I'm not mad that they didn't draft them, but I'm glad that they did their due diligence enough to pick up other guys. If you also saw today, the Bears dropped Charles Leno Jr., right tackle. He's been an all-pro before, and Trey Turner is still a free agent, a 5-time all-pro from Carolina. So there's 2 all-pros on the free agent market, as well as Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher. So those are 4 offensive linemen that the Giants could all target right now. Get another tackle or a guard if they really were that worried about their offensive line. But to be completely honest with you, I'm not so worried about the offensive line. I think that they're going to develop very nicely. Once these guys are in pads, you'll know what you have. They have Nate Solder, who had one of his children dealing with cancer. So he really didn't, his 1 year we saw of him, he really didn't play well because he had so much on his mind, in my opinion. They had Will Hernandez, who dealt with COVID this year. Matt Pert, who was a rookie, we threw him into the fire. Nick Gates had an extremely improved year
At center as well, which is not his first primary position.
Exactly. Kevin Zeitler we cut, but we also brought in. We also have Shane Lemieux, who we had a rookie. We threw him into the fire as well last year, and Andrew Thomas, another rookie. So our offensive line was not proven last year. This year, they're going to have a little bit more time to build chemistry and develop. So I'm really not too upset with Gettleman not drafting an offensive line at all because he's giving his guys a chance, which is huge.
Yeah, Joe Judge and Dave Gettleman are very confident in their offensive linemen. If they're confident, I'm confident. I think they're very high on Matt Pert, from what I've read, and I think he honestly might move into a starting position at right tackle this year. We'll see how that works out. But as you said, I don't think the lack of drafting an O lineman was a huge issue. As we have some young guys that can develop into those starting positions in the next couple of years. Number 21 overall pick, we have the Indianapolis Colts drafting Kwity Paye, a guy that a lot of Giants fans thought we were going to have on our team. But he goes to be an edge rusher for the Colts, which was a needed position for them.
Yeah, complete athletic freak. Kwity Paye can get to the quarterback. I like his size. He's able to move around very well. So I really like the pick of Kwity Paye for Indianapolis. They get another edge rusher who they could put in their front four.
Yeah, and another inspiring story as well. He was like a refugee from Africa, or if I stand corrected, at some country. And he worked his way up, providing for his family. Went to Michigan and is now first round pick in the NFL. Number 22, Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech goes to the Tennessee Titans, who lost both Malcolm Butler and Adoree Jackson. So that was very much a position of need for them. Austin, what do you think about this pick?
As you said, another big position need for Tennessee. Another story to tell as well. Caleb Farley was a receiver. He had major injuries and then he became a corner. Now he had another injury and COVID before the draft. This guy has had a hell of a road. But I really like Caleb Farley's game. He's one of the faster corners, possibly now in the NFL. I really like his game. I really think he'll translate over to the NFL pretty nicely.
Agreed. I think he's going to be a great corner for the Titans. Definitely stepping into the shoes of those guys. Number 23, we have another one of your guys, Christian Darrisaw, Minnesota Vikings. Some people thought the Giants were going to draft him, and honestly, I would not have been upset with the Darrisaw pick. But what do you think about this pick, Austin?
Great blocker. He's going to be able to protect Kirk Cousins, which is a huge issue because Kirk Cousins can't throw the ball more than 20 yards. So that's pretty nice that they got a guy who could try to protect Kirk Cousins who can't throw the ball at all. That's why they drafted Kellen Mond in the 3rd round, because they finally don't believe in their quarterback and they really wanted to get Justin Fields at 14, but he didn't fall.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Came out today that they were going to draft Justin Fields at 14. And after he got swooped up by the Bears, that's when they traded back with the Jets. Honestly, that was really, really surprising for me. And I mean, if you're Kirk Cousins hearing that, you can't be happy. But I mean, he is getting paid to be a completely average quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
Be on the look at for an Aaron Rodgers to Minnesota. If Kirk Cousins becomes unhappy and Aaron Rodgers becomes unhappy, there could be like 5 first-round picks and Kirk Cousins be heading to Green Bay.
Yeah, definitely. We could talk a little bit about that Aaron Rodgers news later in this episode. Number 24 overall pick. I think everyone thought this was going to happen after losing James Conner, right? Pittsburgh Steelers lost James Conner. Wait, where'd he go?
He's in Arizona.
Arizona, exactly. Najee Harris, super, super talented guy out of Alabama. I think he's the best running back in this class, just off his sheer athleticism, size, strength, power, vision, elusiveness. He's got it all. What do you think about this?
You don't need to think that he's the number one running back in the class. He is the number one running back in this class. Najee Harris is an absolute tank. There is no other running back in the nation that could run over SEC and Ohio State defenses, or any defense for that matter, like Najee can. He was jumping over guys. He was stiff arming guys. He was getting the ball. He could receive the ball extremely well. He's literally everything that prime Le'Veon Bell was for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I absolutely love the pick for them. I think it's a great fit.
Yeah, really good pick for the Steelers. He's going to fit alongside well with Big Ben, and they are going to compete for that divisional spot with the Browns and the Ravens. So that'll be an interesting race to watch. Number 25, we have Jacksonville again, a questionable pick that we mentioned before. They grabbed Travis Etienne, running back out of Clemson, Trevor Lawrence's running mate throughout his career. And this is very questionable because they have James Robinson, who had the third most rushing yards in the league last year, 1,017 rushing yards as an undrafted rookie, most in NFL history. He had 10 total touchdowns. He absolutely lit it up for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was their basically only glimpse of hope for that offense, and they just draft a guy in his position out of Clemson. As I said, Trevor Lawrence's best friend. What do you think about this pick?
I believe they panicked. I really do not think that Etienne was their pick originally. Even Urban Meyer came out and said it, that he was devastated when the Giants took Kadarius Toney because that was his guy at 25. Travis Etienne is a very good running back. I was listening to his draft call saying that he's going to put on like 15, 20 pounds and they're going to make him into a bigger running back. So him and James Robinson could be a really good 1-2 punch. I believe the pick here should have been Bateman. They could have got a really good wide receiver. They could have had DJ Chark and like Shiva Shavolt and had kept James Robinson as their running back one and had a really spread out, wide, diverse offense. But then they decided to draft two guys at the same position. So I'm not too fond of Travis Etienne here at 25 to Jacksonville.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Travis Etienne is definitely an amazing running back, and I think he's going to have a good career. But I just don't think it's the right fit in Jacksonville. You have your best player on offense, and you draft in his position. It's very similar to the Packers last year, trading up and drafting Jordan Love when they had MVP, well, soon to be MVP, Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion on their squad. I don't get, and I'm not comparing James Robinson to a future Hall of Famer and future Super Bowl champion, but best player on your team and you draft in this position, it's a little bit questionable. Could be right. They could have panicked. But we'll go on to pick number 26, Greg Newsome, the second out of Northwestern, cornerback to the Cleveland Browns. Austin, what do you think about this?
I like the pick for Cleveland. I believe they did need a corner desperately because Denzel Ward is always hurt. I
Yeah.
really think they needed a guy who could just step in there. Greedy Williams is going to come back this year. Grant Delpit's going to come back this year. I really like Cleveland's chances on the defense. They really upgraded. They brought in Troy Hill. They brought in John Johnson III. They brought in Jadeveon Clowney. I'm just naming a few guys. They just really upgraded their defense. I really believe Cleveland has the chance to take a huge step this year as not only as a defense, but as a team.
I got a hot take. Browns Super Bowl contenders this year. Don't get it
You could
twisted.
put them in the contenders talk. Put them in the contenders talk.
I think they can. They're low key contenders right now. They should be up there. They revamped this defense. They brought in Clowney, drafted Newsome. They got guys coming back like Grant Delpit. Denzel Ward is an elite cornerback when he stays healthy. You have Defensive Player of the Year contender with Myles Garrett. You have an all-around just really good defense. You brought in John Johnson. You have Baker Mayfield. If he can match that play he played in the later half of the season, he's going to could be a top 10 quarterback this year. You have Odell Beckham Jr. coming back from an ACL injury. Hopefully he can return to full strength. Jarvis Landry, as we know, he's a very good receiver. I think Rashard Higgins is still unsigned, so I'm not sure about the situation with him. But they have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, great 1-2 running back duo, one of the best offensive lines in the league. I think a lot of their play rides on Baker Mayfield and him taking a little bit of a leap. But Kevin Stefanski, he won Coach of the Year. Am I wrong? Coach of the Year?
I think so.
I think he won Coach of the Year. If not, he was definitely in the conversation for it. I think this team is a contender. If they can get out of this division, I think they'll have a pretty good regular season. Although those divisional battles with the Steelers and the Ravens are going to be very good. That's going to be must-watch football, 100% division rivalry. But I think the Browns are a very, very formidable opponent in the AFC this year. Number 27, we got their division rival, who we were just talking about, the Ravens, drafting in a position of need, as many other teams before. They grabbed Rashad Bateman, who is probably the fourth best receiver in this class, arguably maybe even ahead of Devonta Smith in some people's boards. But he's a very, very talented receiver out of Minnesota, and they grabbed their wide receiver one probably with Bateman. What do you think?
Ravens fans, your prayers have been answered. You guys got a receiver. He's much better than Marquise Hollywood Brown. You could put this guy on the outside. You could put him anywhere really as well. I really like Rashad Bateman. My friend Chris Epp, he's been on the show. He said that he's very similar to Justin Jefferson in the way he runs routes and gets opened. I really, really like Rashad Bateman's game. I really think it's a huge pick for the Ravens.
Yeah, agreed. I think he's going to be a really good player for the Ravens. Definitely going to be a good fit with Lamar Jackson. Number 28, we have the New Orleans Saints drafting in a position of need, defensive end, edge rusher, Peyton Turner out of Houston. I think this was a little bit of a reach. I think some people had him projected as a second round pick, but they did draft him ahead of guys like Greg Rousseau and Azeez Ojulari. So they definitely did their work on him, and they definitely had, a good view of him and how he'll fit in with the future of the Saints after losing Trey Hendrickson. Also, what do you think about this pick?
A lot of people had a second and third round grade on Peyton Turner. No one really was expecting him to be a first round pick. I was shocked when he went first round. A lot of people, including me, like Greg Rousseau a lot better, Joe Tryon a lot better, Jason Owe a lot better, and Azeez Ojulari much better. So those are four guys I just named that I would rather have. The thing with Peyton Turner is I think that the Saints believe that he'll be able to step in right away, unlike a guy like Owe or Rousseau or potentially even Joe Tryon. I think Tryon might be coming in a little bit quicker, but I don't think Rousseau and Owe would be immediate impact players for the Saints, and that's why I believe they selected Peyton Turner.
Mm-hmm. Definitely an interesting pick. We'll see how it pans out. He'll be alongside Cam Jordan on the edges. Number 29, we have the Green Bay Packers drafting a cornerback. And did the draft start before or after all the Rodgers drama?
After.
After, okay. But still, they needed receivers. They didn't draft a receiver.
Wait. No, it was before the Rodgers drama. Wait, no, we knew about the Rodgers drama during the draft.
Did we know about it the first round, though? I'm not sure.
Correct, we did.
Okay, so even throughout the drama, they still drafted a cornerback. Another, questionable first round pick with last year's as well. Eric Stokes, don't get me wrong, is a very good cornerback, speedy guy out of Georgia, but they are not drafting in their position of need. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, I just got a notification on my phone. Aaron Rodgers is intrigued by the Raiders. So I can't imagine Aaron Rodgers in a different jersey other than green and yellow. I just can't. I can't imagine him in a black and silver jersey. I just can't. But yeah, all this Aaron Rodgers news is crazy. What do you think about that pick, Austin?
I absolutely despise the pick. If you want to keep Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, you should protect him. Give him a guy like Landon Dickerson. Give him a guy like Creed Humphrey. Give him a center. Give him someone who could snap him the ball after Corey Lindsey left.
They lost
Corey Linsley just left. So why are you drafting a corner? Although Kevin King is absolutely awful. I stand by that. Jaire Alexander, he's amazing. Everything that Jaire Alexander is so amazing for, Kevin King is just the opposite. I just don't get the pick. I really think that if you want to keep Aaron Rodgers there, make him happy, get him a receiver, or get him an offensive lineman. Why are you drafting a cornerback? Just doesn't make sense.
You're at risk of losing the MVP of the league. The MVP of the league, and you're not even addressing his wants and needs. Past couple seasons, he's wanted a receiver. They were trying to trade at the deadline for Will Fuller. They probably would have been able to get that trade through. No reason why. I mean, Texans were in a rebuilding stage, even with none of the Deshaun Watson rumors going on, but they still were not a good team. I'm sure it wouldn't have taken a lot to grab Will Fuller off their hands, considering they just got rid of him in free agency. So definitely another questionable pick. I think they should have went receiver or, as you said, offensive lineman to address some of those needs. But we'll see how the Aaron Rodgers drama unfolds. We've seen some interest from the Broncos, as I just said, the Raiders. It's going to take a huge haul to get the former MVP, reigning MVP, Aaron Rodgers. Although it is his 16th year in the league, he's still elite quarterback, arguably the best in the league, as he won MVP last season. Austin, what do you think are some possible landing spots for the surprise trade in Aaron Rodgers?
I think the Raiders and the Broncos. You said the two locations. I was thinking the Giants, but then I was like, I think that we believe in Daniel Jones a little bit. So I would say if the Raiders want, I think the Broncos are the best landing spot for him because I wouldn't be afraid to get Aaron Rodgers over Drew Lock any day of the week. I think that Derek Carr is pretty happy in Las Vegas. I think Derek Carr is a really good quarterback. So I don't know why they're trying to move on from Derek Carr so fast when Aaron Rodgers is just getting older.
I think with the Raiders, they've been stuck in this phase of like mediocrity for so long. They've been like an 8-8 team or like a 9-7 team for so long. And I think taking Aaron Rodgers could obviously bring them to the next leap. But I mean, the Raiders don't have great receiving core. So I don't really like who are their best receivers besides Darren Waller?
Henry
They
Ruggs,
lost Aguilar, they lost Tyrell Williams. Who do they have?
Ruggs and Renfro.
Yeah, Ruggs and Renfro, and they got Waller. Obviously, who's a top three tight end. But I don't know. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to leave one problem to head right into the next. So we'll see how that works out with Aaron Rodgers. I think a team like the Saints could be a little bit of a dark horse. After Drew Brees just retired, and maybe they trade like Taysom Hill to the Packers. If I'm the Packers, I'd like Taysom Hill, very versatile guy, and he could be a good quarterback. As we've seen him go 4-1, 5-0 last year in Drew Brees' absence.
He
Uh,
wouldn't play quarterback. They would stick with Love.
Love, okay, but I mean Taysom Hill's a guy that any NFL team still wants on their team,
Of course.
whether he's quarterback or whether he's kick returner, punt returner, blocker, running back, tight end, all the positions he can play.
Put him anywhere.
So yeah, we'll keep you updated with that Packers drama. Definitely going to be interesting to watch as we go into pick 30. Greg Rousseau for the Buffalo Bills. I think this is a really good pick. That Buffalo Bills run defense was not great last year. And you're bringing in Greg Rousseau, who sat out last year. I think he's still a very good prospect, though. I believe he's like 6'7" and like edge rusher, big guy, big physical guy. I think he's going to be really good for the Bills.
Yeah, he's an athletic freak. He came into high school as a receiver. He's huge. He's 6'7". He played some basketball in his day when he was younger in high school. I really like Greg Rousseau, but he's a developmental player. He's only been playing edge for so long, and his really good games at Miami were against really bad teams, in my opinion. So I think him and Epineza in the future will be really good together in Buffalo. I just think they need a lot of time to develop, and a guy like Matt Milano being there will help him.
Yep, I totally agree. That Bills defense has got to improve a little bit. They definitely are contenders, but defense, front seven definitely needs a little bit of work. And they addressed that with this draft. Number 31, we have Jason Owe out of Penn State. I think he wants to be called Odafe Owe, right? Or something.
I don't know.
I think I'm looking at the website now. Odafe is actually his real name, and I think Jason is his middle name. And I think he wants to be called Odafe, or I might be butchering that name completely. Um, Austin, what are your thoughts on this Penn State prospect?
Killer pro day as all the Penn State guys had this year. Giants really wanted him. I really believe that if we stuck at 11 and took a receiver, I believe we were going to trade up and try to get away. But now where in Baltimore, he has some time to develop, which is huge. I think that he'll have a really good relationship with the edge rusher coach there because they really have some really great edges that come in and out of there all the time. So I think it's a good.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good pick too. He'll be good for that front seven for the Baltimore Ravens. And the last pick of the first round, we have Joe Tryon out of Washington, edge rusher for the Buccaneers. Honestly, like they're set. They're set for another Super Bowl contending run. So this is just added sprinkles on top of the Sunday. What do you think about this pick?
I really like Joe Tryon. He sat out this year, but he's a really good edge rusher. Another guy you could add with Levante David on that defense and Devin White. So those are two really good defenders. And he's just another guy you could throw right in there. I really think it's a great pick for them.
Yeah, definitely agree. All right, so that was our recap of the first round. Austin, do you have any other comments about the drafts? Maybe some possible steals we haven't touched upon?
Okay, possible steals. I really, really like Jeremiah Owusu Karamoa. I really can't believe he fell that late. The reasons why he was falling were because he wouldn't fit into a scheme, and they don't know what position he'd be playing. He's going to surely be playing linebacker or safety for the Cleveland Browns this year, and they're surely going to be happy to have him.
Yeah.
Another guy I really like, Pat Fryermuth, going to the Steelers. Another tight end. I think that he's completely different type of tight end than Eric Ebron is. I think he's a really good blocker. He's capable of blocking, and he could catch the ball pretty nicely. So I like him. And I'll give you. Oh, I like Creed Humphrey a lot. I really think that adding a center to Kansas City's line that Mahomes was begging for an upgrade was huge. And then my absolute surprise pick of the draft, Davis Mills, going to Houston. I think that the Deshaun era in Houston is officially over with that pick.
Yeah. Do you think Deshaun Watson will be playing NFL football this year, whether it's for the Texans or any other team? No.
No, no way. He's done. I think that that pick completely secured that he will not be playing in the NFL this year.
Um,
I really like Davis Mills.
yeah, it's so unfortunate. Like we're chopping off years of Deshaun Watson's prime for hopefully something that isn't even true. Maybe it is true. If so, that sucks. But if it isn't true, it sucks even more because he's just being held against his will, not being able to play. So yeah, definitely sucks for Deshaun Watson. Hope everything gets figured out so we can see him back on the field. But yeah, those were some good steals. Another steal I've had, although it was a pretty early pick, Elijah Moore. A lot of people thought he was going to be a first round receiver. He's going to the Jets to pair up with um, I just saw a notification on my phone that said if Aaron Jones joined the Broncos, and I saw it said Aaron Jones or Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers joined the Broncos. So I was just like pausing. Who is it? Elijah Moore. He's gonna be really good with that Jets new revamped offense. Zach Wilson, Michael Carter, Elijah Vera Tucker, Mekhi Becton, who they just Corey Davis. So I mean, definitely new era in both New York teams, both the Giants and the Jets. Um, so yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Austin, anything else to say?
Nope. Hope for the best this year with our Giants. That's for sure.
Yeah, playoffs, New York Giants, week one. Roger Goodell, if you're watching this, put us prime time against the Philadelphia Eagles Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. Put us prime time. Put us on the schedule. We are going to destroy the Philadelphia Eagles on primetime television.
Shout out.
Yeah, let's go. Um, so yeah, thank you guys for watching episode 11 NFL Draft Recap. We will be back soon with some more episodes. So yeah, like and subscribe down low, and peace.